Hi everyone. I wanted to show our SEO ROI calculator and how to use it and really to understand the results and what you can gather from it. So a lot of people are curious when they're thinking about engaging with an SEO program. How do you quantify the ROI? How do you know you're going to have a return? How long is that going to take? And there's a bunch of different variables. But when we break it down, really the things that are going to impact it are how much are you spending? Is it a one-time cost? Is it a monthly cost? What are your average lead? If your average lead is more, you have more room to pay and still get an ROI. Think of margins like a product. So your average lead value is your margin. If you have high lead value, then it's like a high margin item. You can spend a lot more and still have a good ROI. If your lead value is very low, it's going to be hard to make up for that. Your conversion rate. So for every new person we bring to a site, because SEO, of course, we're trying to attract people to your brand and to your site. What does that look like? So for one site, 3 people out of every 100 might reach out. For another site, 5 out of 100. So realistically, what does your conversion rate look like? And with any good program, we're going to be working on improving that in conjunction with getting more people to the site. But basically, a good rule of thumb is 3 to 5% for a conversion rate is good. That's kind of like the average and a good rate. And something you can base off of. So you can run it at 3, you can run it at 5, kind of see how that changes things. Right here, we have it more conservative. We're at 2.5%. And then the other factor is how many people are currently going to your site. So if your site has 100 people going to it, but the potential is 3,000, that's a potential of 2,900 more people that you could get on your site. So you have a lot of potential and there's a lot of room for growth and for payoff, versus if you're at 2,800 and realistically the growth can only get you to 3,000. That's a lot smaller of a growth. And that would lead us more into focusing on conversion rate over just actually growing. Or seeing, are you looking at the wrong market? Is there more? And then lastly, what is your potential? So again, talking about, are you going from 100 to 3,000 or 2,800 to 3,000? What is your growth potential? How much can you realistically grow by? And this is going to be different for every industry, for every job or company, because really depending on a bunch of different factors, from competitors to uniqueness of the product to quality of the product and so forth, there can be a big variance. So it can't really give you a number there, but something you can kind of reach into it and look at. The last one is how many months to achieve this growth. Obviously, like if you double your traffic, but it takes a year and work needs to be done for a year, you're going to have to pay for all that work before the traffic is going to be there for the ROI. So it is something with SEO that it takes a little bit to have a return on investment. But the great part is once you've invested that money, if you're getting an extra 1,000 people a year, and that means an extra 30 leads a year, that's every year. So you have 30 and 30 and 30. It's compounding, and that cost does not always stay static. You could have an ongoing program, but in theory, then you're still growing. And if you don't have the program going, that added traffic and conversions are now going to pay for itself as you go forward. So SEO is very much like investing in a stock. It's going to go up and down throughout, but on the long term, the ROI is going to be great. And it's something where patience does yield a little positive for the person who can be patient. So with that in mind, how do you know how patient to be? How do you know what's realistic and what's a fair, go at it? You don't want to wait too long to decide it's not working, but you also need to give it time. So that's where this calculator really comes in. So for the sake of this, we're going to say, let's say a monthly program, it's going to cost you $3,000 a month. Okay. And your average lead is $600. You're converting at a 3% conversion rate. You currently have 5,000 people that come to your site. And your growth potential, let's even just go more conservative here. Let's just say that you've kind of already been doing a good job, but you still have a 10% growth potential. In order for us to grow that traffic 10%, say that it's going to take us 3 months worth of work here to get it to go up to 10%. So with all that in mind, we hit calculate. Now we see that is going to take you 4 months to break even. So the first 3 months you'll be in the negative, but on the fourth month, then the extra revenue will offset the cost you've paid, because you were paying for 3 months. It's going to take, you're paying $9,000. Your revenue is going to grow by 9,000 after the 4 months, and then after 6 months you'll see then your ROI would double. So now you'd be expected to have made $18,000 off of that $9,000 investment, and 12 months 800%. These numbers, obviously, they might not actually be realistic. So keep that in mind, that the data you put in here is very important to what you get out. So the better you can really define your lead value and in traffic and your growth potential, the better. In general, though, for months to achieve traffic, it's usually going to take 3 to 6 months to really see movement. But depending on how competitive you are or how optimized your site is, it could be faster or it could be longer. But I would not put it less than 3. And if you want, for the sake of this, we want to see, okay, well, what if it took us, actually, it's going to take 6 months. You can just run it again and see and be like, okay, now it's going to take 8 months to break even. So if that's realistic, that's going to take 6 months for that 10% growth. You're still going to get an ROI. And after a year, you're still doubling. You're getting a 200% ROI. But you are going to have to wait longer to break even. And we can also see if our conversion rate changes. So if you convert better than expected, now the break even is still the same timeline, but we're getting more leads. So in the long term, we have an ROI of 400%. So we have a larger ROI. If you have any questions, just drop a comment down below and I will answer them.